that's really on my mind today is how our emotions can get the best of us, and how our soul work can really rescue us out of that. I've been just thinking back on my life and my choices and my decisions. Some of those decisions felt really big at the time. Some of those decisions felt really small, but any decisions, like as I'm looking back, that were made out of emotion were almost always decisions that I had to do some repair work in one way or another. So I think I'm just reflective today on how I really want to bring my soul work, how I am in the process of bringing my soul work forward, so that I'm operating from clear think rather than the muddiness of emotional reactions. So I feel like I've been catapulted into a new consciousness recently. So many people right now are asking me about, why is the journey so hard, right now? And I think, if we are looking outside of ourselves, especially to our political leaders, for validation for who we are, we're not going to find that. So I think what becomes really important in the journey right now is to really anchor the support from within out. And when I was just journaling the other day, my own process, and I journal my feeling words every day, and I journaled, I feel supported by myself, and then after that, I feel supported by the universe. But what I notice is that if I'm not supporting myself, I don't feel supported by the universe, because the universe is waiting on me to do the work first. You know what I'm saying? So I think the key is to be looking within for the answers, which of course is the most difficult thing to do. I believe the soul journey is a constant learning. And it's interesting in my personal life, when I'm planning for a big event, or if I'm planning a big series at the church, I often come to the public library to center myself. And I also surround myself with every aspect of humanity. Every aspect of humanity's here. Businessmen and women, practically every race, and homeless. So I feel like I have to get in like the soup of humanity to really glean what it is I'm supposed to teach, like to the congregation. So I come here often. It's a really good place for me. The thing when you said what's the one thing, a final thing I wanted to say. I think the spiritual journey can feel very isolating, because even if we're surrounded by people sometimes, because the journey is just that, it's very individual. And so you can be in a room full of people and still feel lonely or depressed, right? So you can be in a room full of people and feel happy and fulfilled. It's the inner self, that matters most. So I think what I would want people to know more than anything is to know that you are ultimately not alone, even if it is a solitary journey ultimately, because the work is yours. But I would want to encourage anybody traveling or anybody who doesn't have a strong home base to reach out to create a support system for themselves, so that the journey can be shared. Because I have a concern about our suicide rate. I have a concern about how disconnected people feel, and the spiritual journey is the big connector for me. But even when I know I'm loved, even when I know I'm connected to God and myself, I still want to enrich that connection by relationships, friendships, by people on the journey, so that I get new ideas, so that I get re-inspired, to continue the work. Never give up. Keep working. It's totally worth it. It's when the journey feels hardest, you're about to break through. It's like the the ego wants to trick us out of our next spiritual step. And so when things feel really hard in life, it means a new consciousness is trying to come forward. So when it gets the hardest, I want you to hear me saying in your mind and in your heart, don't give up. You're almost there. So a new consciousness is trying to come in. Your soul is trying to grow and evolve. So just stay with it. Stay with it. Find a spiritual community. Reach out so that you know you're not doing it alone. But don't give up, because that lets the lower self, the ego nature, win. And what we want is for the soul to lead. So when the soul has a strong desire, the soul wants to grow, everything unlike it comes up, and it feels real hard, and we say, Spirit, is this really what I'm supposed to do? That's at the point, don't give up. I mean, ultimately, I believe God's will for you is good. It's that simple. And so if I'm trying to grow, if what I'm trying to bring forward is growth and expansion in my life, or, bringing a blessing to my life and therefore to the world, God's always going to support that. So, but first, we have to often go through the trials of getting on this new consciousness, which is often difficult, right? So, and in my case, that I know of always, so when you're bringing in a new consciousness. So you want to really have the proper support, the connection with soul, and don't give up when it gets hard. Keep going, and you'll experience the new consciousness.
God bless the child. Yeah, I was born on the north side, close to the shore side, Golden Gate Bridge, where I lived for a short while. Till my parents split up. Then I had to get up, get out, find out what it was about. Sometimes it made me scream and it made me wanna shout. There was so much anger, pain, hatred, and doubt. Had to find a way for my soul to break out. At first my soul searched, started in church, but soon I realized why that wouldn't work. It was a culprit that the Pope was stashing cash behind the mantle, plus the chapel couldn't handle the light from my candle, so I decided to travel.